You little rotten keg tapper, no name having, looking ragged, lame rapper. You nut hugger, butt buddy fudge packer. Okay, enough of that. My real friends call me Asher. Laughter. What kind of name is that, bro, dude?
It's the season finale! Woo! Welcome to 13 Minutes. I'm Paul Goon, and I'm hanging out with the homies in Pillars for the last episode of Season 7. What's up, Pillars?
Hey,
What up?
Where are you guys from?
Well, now we're, I think, kind of like a regional, like two-city band. And that's like a complicated question.
I'm from
Where
Akron.
do you say the band's from?
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Okay. We're the Cleveland, Ohio, punk, metal. What kind of music do you guys make?
It's just heavy.
As far
I mean,
Seems to have a mix of D beat, just traditional like metal,
Thrasher in there for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely
yeah,
some
I can
thrash.
get, but it's great though because you're not like, it seems like it's just like you guys are just making music and it's like, oh, I can grab that sound. That kind of sounds like that, but
Yeah.
it's just so original and so unique.
I think that, like, what I wanted to do when the band first started was to kind of, like, I've always been a big believer in kind of, like, breaking down kind of, like, these little silos that people kind of get into. And for me, like, it's always been fun with music to, like, see how, like, two things that shouldn't go together, or listening to, like, a whole bunch of different kinds of music, styles of music, and, like, try and find those, like, connector points, what connects the dots of all that stuff, and see if you can put it together in kind of like an aggressive kind of way, so this is actually kind of crazy because this is actually the new lineup of the band, and one of the great things about it is that we've had some ups and downs. I think, like, just from when we started in 2015 till now.
Can I interrupt
so
you for
much
1
has
second?
changed. Yeah.
It's the big announcement!
Yeah. I think that, like, the past year or two was really tough for me personally, and went through a whole bunch of really, really complex and sad and weird stuff just in my life. And, like, I almost actually at the end of last year almost just called it, just kind of called it a day.
Oh,
Man,
man,
it
that
was
would
in
have broke my fucking heart.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was just kind of like so many things had just kind of happened in a really short period of time. I kind of felt like my life was kind of collapsing. How
do you feel your life is now with a hand gesture?
a lot better.
With a hand
With
gesture.
a hand gesture?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
okay,
I mean,
good.
it's-
really
Oh, that's
like
2
that.
thumbs up. That's good.
I don't know. It's definitely a lot. It's definitely a lot better. I went through some pretty dark stuff in a really short, condensed amount of time. Like, my dad died on the last day of our 2018 tour on 420. So, like, I can't really enjoy that holiday anymore without thinking about stuff like that. But, like, to have that kind of, like, life event happen, like, while you're on tour and stuff, it was just a really, like, that was kind of like the catalyst for just, like, a really, like, a lot of things. Everyone kind of deals with grief differently, and I kind of felt like I was at a point where I really needed to almost kind of, like, start over in a way.
So you kicked somebody out of your band?
No, it's actually, it's a lot more complicated than that. It was just time. I think that the people that that were in the band prior, I think we just kind of drifted away, I mean, and you know, maybe I drifted away, and that's life. Sometimes shit like that happens, you know. But what really kind of like, you know, carried me through were my friends, you know. And I think when you go through shit like that, you really find out who your friends are. Like, so this is actually, me personally, this is like in my opinion, like the most the most like alive that the band has been, you know. Like,
and I already liked Pillars before, so now I'm like getting a really big boner.
yeah, we've started writing new stuff, and it's like the writing process for a long time for me was really difficult, and it's really not difficult at all with these guys. It's awesome. Like, there's just like so much of a more like, there's like cohesion that may not have been there before, which is like really, really cool. And they're just solid dudes. I mean, I've known Chad since 2009, somewhere in there. I don't know, it's kind of hazy. And like,
yeah, I mean, do you want to make the official introduction of the new lineup?
oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I'll let them speak for themselves.
If you don't know, my name's Chad. I've been in a bunch of other bands over like the last 20 years for whatever it's worth. And now I'm playing with these dudes, which is fun because I've been playing drums that are generally more mid-paced over the last maybe 10 years or so. And coming from kind of like a grindcore background, I've missed that kind of speed and intensity a lot. So this was a perfect opportunity for me to A, play with a friend, and B, get back to playing, you know, with a lot more intensity in ways. So yeah, it's just a great opportunity, and I kind of agree with him. Like, you get into a band, and it's either like, oh shit, this works, or it's like, we got to work at it. And that's cool to be in that kind of band, you know, but this band was just like, showed up to practice, and it was like,
oh, what, it clicks right away.
it just clicked. So then, you know, there's always potential for a little danger, you know, so yeah, it's working out.
A little danger.
I mean, danger's a good thing when it comes to art, you know? It's the point, right?
We've entered the danger zone. With
yeah.
that.
Well, we've had a lot of adventures. Like, because our last two projects played a lot of shows together. Chad was in Mockingbird for...
It never
how long
ended,
were you guys?
motherfucker.
Oh, okay, all right.
No.
You're still in
for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in that band and a bunch of other bands for a while, on
Yeah.
and off. But, I mean, you can't resist an opportunity to play fucking extreme music, you know what I mean? So when it arises, you know, and then he got this dude on bass, Lewis, and I'm like, well, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
So, and if you can lock in as a drummer, if you can lock in with a bass player, like,
For sure.
the first practice, once again, I was like, oh, dude, it's there, you know? So,
Yeah, it's crazy easy.
I mean, why would you not do it in that case?
Yeah, we clicked like right away. And me and Zach had been jamming for like a couple weeks before we met up with Chad to get me like up to speed. Cause I didn't really come up playing bass at all. I'm like more of a guitar player, I guess. Like a hack guitar player.
So you were like, oh, this big dumb caveman guitar is easy.
Yeah. I mean, you know, cause I got rhythm, so. You know, it was kind of an easy transition, I guess. But yeah, I just kind of had to, you know, figure out the vibe and, you know, the style of Pillars. And me and Zach kind of, you know, kind of got that going real quick.
Yeah.
And then we got with Chad, and it was like, boom.
Damn, it happened quick, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it did. It did. And so this is actually kind of funny because I had initially, like, in an earlier era of the band, I had actually reached out to Lewis initially, be like, yo, dude, do you want to, do you want to play bass in this project? And it's just, you know, sometimes it's like things like take a certain time, like the timing needs to be right. And at the time, you were with Dune, right?
Yeah, I was still with my band, Doom. We were kind of based out of Athens, and I was doing this like crazy thing where I was running down there for practice and shows, and like coming up here, like living up here, you know, in Cleveland, and you know that kind of like ran its course a while ago, and I basically really stopped playing for a while, got more into photography. I'm like really into analog 35 millimeter. My mom bought me a Pentax for my birthday a couple years ago. Oh, shit. And I've been like just running with that. This old Canon AE1 my buddy Dan got me. So yeah, that was like my thing, was like going to shows, going to a bunch of shows. I go to Pillar shows and shit, and like, you know, just shoot my friends. And yeah.
And then it just kind of came together. Yeah. Well, because like we had known each other just through music. You know, like I'm actually from Warren, which is one of the big reasons why, like, because we typically don't do stuff like this. But like I will forever be from that area.
Thank fucking
and, like,
God I moved to Warren.
So yeah, like being like from like a smaller town, and then you move away. And you know, I think that there's always like a little part of you that's like, all right, I gotta show up for the hometown, you know, and like so, like I'll always have like a special place in my heart for that area. Like it's just, you know, you're from where you're from, and you know, it's like when you move away, it's like you almost have to like explain to people like why, or you know, there's like some weird like you have to kind of like justify that, you know. But yeah, that was kind of like I don't know. But so anyways, met Lewis just through music, and just always had a lot of respect for him, because he was just like he was always there, and he was always like making cool art, and just like one of the coolest dudes I've ever met, really. And
damn.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, for real. Sorry, bro. So it was like there was always kind of like this. You know what? That dude's solid, and like how I connect with people is through music, and like then seeing his band play, being like, wow, it's really talented
like it's
musician.
All just like support and just like being down for your people, and like showing up. You know,
so like this is what happens when the scene actually works the way it's supposed to.
Exactly.
Kind of, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
when
actually.
you work together as a scene
Yep.
or a community, and you start making it a competition, you have new pillars.
It's kind of true, right?
Yeah,
Right?
I think so.
That's a
I
good
think
way
that's
to put
pretty
it,
true.
man.
I'm like really bummed that we don't have like new stuff recorded right now, but
Yeah,
we're really
it's pretty
stoked.
hard.
Yeah, really stoked.
I'm
about
not
the
bummed
new works.
because I got to tell you guys what, Old Pillar goes hard as fuck. And so new Pillar is going to go even harder, and I already have some pillars to hold on to for now.
It is, yeah.
I hope I speak for the rest of the fans when I say we can wait. But
Not too much longer.
It's coming.
No, I
yeah,
said
it's
like-
coming. We got.
you know, because it's written on here. I have it in the interview. I want to know. I know you guys have a couple EPs and albums already, or well, you know, what were the first few projects called, and then do you have an idea when we can expect the new stuff?
Yeah, so I mean, Pillars kind of came together in 2015. I had been in a band prior to that called Red Sun, which is more of like a Columbus-based band, but that was really my introduction to like this whole weird alternative universe that we've created, you know, like this weird extended family. And when that band kind of, you know, just, you know, petered out, because I was already living up in Cleveland. The rest of the guys were in Columbus, and that drive, dude, you know, from Cleveland
Yep.
to Athens, and you know, it's
I know what
like,
you're talking about.
after a while, it's like, why, you know? But I still had like all these riffs that I didn't want to just let that float away. You know, like I felt like there was more that like needed to come out of that path. So, you know, I've been living up in Cleveland since '09, and this would be 2015, 2014-ish in that kind of time period. And I was like, you know, should do something heavy again, you know, because I've been playing in punk bands just to kind of like help my friends and just to stay active, like
It just
playing
didn't
music.
fill your soul the right way, though.
Well, I mean, it's fun, but it wasn't like I was more or less just, you know, there were other folks in those bands that were kind of like that was their project, and you know, and was more than happy to be a part of that, but I did kind of have some things I needed to get out of my brain.
Yeah.
So we started the band. We did a 4-song demo in like winter 2015, and it was kind of like, I think initially just kind of like picking up where Red Sun left off in a sense.
So Pillars is like Red Sun Jr.?
No, totally different.
Okay.
I think it was like just like that project kind of just ended, and then you kind of you take where you've been, right? But then you move in kind of a different.
No, I see what you mean.
Like
It's
kind of
like
vibe.
like a branch that came off of a tree, but it just became its whole own other tree.
It became its own tree, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so like,
Nature serves us.
you know, so yeah, and I mean, and then from there, you know, it was clear we were kind of in like two separate, like, you know, camps where if you listen to the demo and then also the first album, Abandoned, like you can definitely tell it's like, okay, there's some really slow stuff that's, you know, very much kind of influenced by like, you know, doom, sludge, stuff like that, and then there's also like more fast paced, that's more definitely like in, you know, kind of like the DB. I hate saying it. It's almost like saying stoner rock. DB.
Really? Stoner rock fucking sucks, man.
Well, you know what I'm
The
saying.
term.
But I'm just saying like DB.
Right.
Don't know if
I
you get
mean,
all
like-
butthurt, just the term.
Like, I mean, I've always been into definitely like the UK82 stuff, and then
You like Discharge, man?
yeah, and you know, stuff like early death metal. I don't really do like a whole lot of tech like death. It just
No,
seems,
me
it seems
neither.
overproduced, but that's just me.
I can't stand anything. There's so many different.
Like when we start talking about like triggers and quantizing, and it's like, dude, just play a song. Just play the song.
Yeah, it almost makes me feel like I'm gonna have like a stroke or a brain aneurysm.
I mean, but maybe that's what they're trying to do, you know.
Might
But
have
like,
a point.
I don't know. I was always into like Bolt Thrower was like a big, and that's actually because I'm a huge nerd, and like the first time I saw a Bolt Thrower record, it was like Realms of Chaos, when it's just like the Space Marines from Warhammer 40k, and I'm like, what fucking band is tossing like Space Marines on this album cover? Like, I have to have this. And yeah, like that just like, I mean, so I've always wanted to kind of bring those kind of like those different veins kind of together, where like you have just like I feel like bands like, you know, Bolt Thrower and I mean, you know, kind of the D-beat genre. I mean, there's like a lot of different bands. I'm personally a fan of this band, Fall of Ephraim. They're not around anymore, but those guys in particular, I saw them with Black Dove and Masakari at the Legion of Doom when I was living in Columbus, and that show like changed my life for sure. It's like it could, because I was like 19 or 20 years old, and so it's like you have like a couple of different periods, you know, like there's your kind of like your teen years, and you just you're just kind of getting like your like introduction to like, like the mainstream stuff, classic rock, and then like being so close, in time to like the 90s, of course, like, all the Seattle bands, and then you start to realize, oh wait, there's like this other weird stuff that's happening now beneath the surface, and that I think is like another period of kind of like breakthroughs, especially if you're hitting it in your like late teens and early 20s, and then it's like, dude, fucking house shows are the greatest thing ever, because I think it's just a totally different atmosphere than
It is.
just,
It's way different than going to a club, bar, big venue, whatever. House show is just a different thing.
I hope that out of this period we get back to the DIY thing. That's like something we've talked about.
Last
a lot.
night-
All I have to do is convince my girlfriend that heavy music is not that bad. Because, like I told you guys, I'm having a show this weekend at the house, but she's like, nothing crazy. Can we just have some nice music?
Yeah, nice music. It's
And
amazing.
so, but one day maybe I could just get her to leave, and then we could have Pillars tear the fucking house down. You want to come back to Warren?
I mean, I'm always down to do a show.
Hell yeah.
All right, we'll kick her out one day, Drew.
Yeah, I think there's always room for both. I mean, obviously, venues and at the club level, like that's an opportunity to bring more people, just sheer numbers of people together, but I feel like one of the things that kind of bummed me out in Cleveland was that there were a couple really awesome DIY spots, and then they just kind of, people age out. Maybe they have other things happening in their lives where, like
They have little bastard kids.
I mean, we all have kids.
But it's true.
So you
It's
guys
true.
are still living your dreams. You guys are still in Pillars.
There's like
So-
this weird thing where like
Don't
our
let children
generation,
ruin your dreams.
our generation is is where the change started to occur, because like the generations just prior to us, like I'm 40, so I'm fucking old, ready to die. But these guys are gaining on me quick. So, but there's this thing where
That's what I have
like
to look forward to, Dad.
there was a time when the 80s generation like kind of like gave the fuck up on the Leave It to Beaver shit. So now like that a lot of us 80s babies or have families, not many of us were ever completely interested in fucking like the knife and fork family. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah sure, the importance of having what family life and the things that can occur in that, the family, some of the structure there, all that's, although it holds importance, it's still important to be yourself, and I think there's a lot of people, younger generations, my generation, who kind of have found that, who like, I wouldn't even say it's selfish. It's just, you got to live your life if you're going to be anything worth a shit to the kids you're raising. Otherwise, you're going to be some grumpy old fuck like our parents were, for generations
God,
before,
dude.
right? So like, go on tour, get your shit out, come home and be a great fucking parent. Why fucking force yourself to work 9 to 5 every fucking day without any relief, without any sense of individual like purpose, like. For what? Your kid doesn't even like you at that point.
Yeah, that's how you wind up with fucking little bastard kids.
Exactly. So do your shit, and then you'll let
Exactly.
your kid do their shit, and everybody's gonna be cool, But like, so that's kind of what it seems like we do. We all handle our business, we all have our professional lives, if you will, and then we come to fucking practice and let that shit out, and go back and raise potentially bastard kids.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I will say though, I'm kind of coming late into the game here. It was kind of like instant dad, kind of just add water and
Just
and
add
stir.
that.
You
I've
did a
heard
good
that
job,
before.
Yeah.
though, dude.
Well,
She
my
was-
partner, has a 15-year-old, and she's been raising him pretty much on his own, and on her own, and did an amazing job. And we just kind of came together, and just also kind of in a really weird trajectory, life fucking now it's like, oh wow, so now I can kind of be in like a space like that, and it totally does change. It changes your perspective on a lot of things. It's definitely changed my perspective on a lot of things, but you're totally right about like the like having to balance stuff.
Yeah.
Some people figure that out, some people don't, and I think the more that you can bring together like what you have to do to survive and like be a person in the world, right? And then what you love to do, right? The closer you can bring those two together, that's I think where.
And how close are they right now?
For me, they probably.
For you guys collectively, if you could make a good guess for everybody, how close are they right now?
Hand in hand, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like from one to the other.
Good. Fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. There's no like seams. It doesn't seem like from what I can tell. I know not for me, but it
Yeah.
seems like you guys are.
It's
We're
been
lucky.
fun.
Like I mean, they're both right. Like we definitely all like handle our shit and are able to come together and practice. We get like really good work in every week.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of
And
effort.
but that's the thing that like.
It's
A
literally
lot of
like
people
working
don't-
out.
A lot of people aren't in a position to do that.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people that we know who like really rely on touring and all that shit are like kind of in a bad spot right now.
Yeah.
So
Well, and then
you know.
there's another class of people who like, they're like, man, I don't have time for that, man. That's cool, you guys still do that. I wish I could do that. And it's like, well, like if you would fucking put the TV and your Xbox controller down for
Right.
5 minutes, then you could go to practice
Yeah.
at night, and you could like, it sucks, practice. Like, guess what? Practice fucking sucks.
yeah.
It's not always fun. Sometimes it is, but it fucking sucks. That's why when you play a really good show, you're like, oh, this is fucking amazing. Because you just went through all that shit. You practice late at night. You're already tired from work. You got a fucking kid, an old lady. You got all this shit. Go whatever your life is. And then you go fucking sweat it out till fucking 10 o'clock at night, playing 1,000 miles an hour.
So you're a drummer though. You got like
Yeah, you motherfuckers.
I love
like,
practice,
you
dude.
kick back.
20,
like,
you got
yeah,
fucking
but-
25 things you gotta haul around everywhere
But
you go.
yeah, I mean, it's a lot of hard work for anybody. I mean, anybody in a band that plays somewhat
Yeah.
consistently or consistently knows it can be
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of hard work, especially if you want to be a good type band.
Yeah.
And if you're raising a kid every day, that's even more fucking work. But it pays off,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, but don't say that you don't have time to do that.
Right.
You do have time to do that. It's just you like your Xbox
There's
and your
always
TV
time.
shows more. There's time. There's 24 hours a day. There's
Right.
time.
I mean,
Trust me.
I think like the real payoff though, like even when like you're playing a lot, and it's like there are those moments where, I mean, and we've had them already where you lock in, and everyone knows it. You're not saying a fucking word to each other, but everyone is locked in, and you're on like the same plane of existence, and like that I think is worth all the bullshit. That's worth it, because
Definitely.
you literally you can get out of your mind, like you can literally just close your eyes, feel like just the fucking energy in the room, and just play, and just not think about anything else, but just like listening to that sound just kind of like envelop you.
Is that the wave you made? I couldn't help it. I needed to verify that.
I'm Paul Goon. They are the new Pillars. And this is the Season 7 finale of 13 Minutes. I want to say thank you to every single guest we've had this season, every guest we've ever had, every dumb fuck who keeps watching this show, because I'm not sure why you guys do. Thank you so much. We will be back at the beginning of next year with Season 8. And until then, Pillars!